Hi everyone, welcome back. I am Juliana. I haven't recorded a video for a while. I've been really busy trying to create a GitHub, but I had this amazing idea and I really want to show you. So today I'm going to show you how to build a fully dynamic top and plus others visual with corrected sorting in a way that the others will always be on the bottom. Um, then let your user to choose which top end they want to see and if they want to see the others as well. What do I mean? So this is what I am trying to achieve today. So I have here an option that my user can select which top end they want to see. And then it's going to show the top end and all the other categories will be all grouped into others. And then you may say, oh yeah, but now others will always show a much bigger bar, which may happen. So that's why I also added a toggle button. So your user can decide if they want to see the other or not. Then there is also a dynamic subtitle. So it's always saying what is the top end selected, what is the total that it contributes to and the percentage of the overall. And it also has the detail for all the other categories. And it says how many of them are. So in this case here is 4. It says the total and what is the percentage that accounts for. So we often have to work with data like this. We have various categories if you're working with sales or if something that requires I don't know, a branch name. And if you have to show everything on a bar chart, you may end up with a really long of categories. So let's see how we can group everything with selecting the top end, but also showing what are the other categories. And that's what I'm going to show you now. I have now a blank Power BI. I only have my data set. It's just a fact sales. So I have sales from different pharmacy branches. So this is static data set. And I want to show my bar chart based on the pharmacy name. So there are a few things we have to do before we actually start creating our measures. First is we have to create a separate table that will list the pharmacy name and a category called other. And this table will not be connected to our main table. This is what we're going to use as the axis for our bar chart. Insert a new table. And what my new table has to do, it has to pick the distinct values under my pharmacy name and then to add another row, which will be other. So I'm going to use, I'm going to call it category axis. Union, and I want the distinct values from my fact sales pharmacy name, close, and then I'm going to use a row to create a single extra row with the text other. So you will be on the same column. I will have the same structure, but because that category other is not my fact table, I have to add that as well. So I'm going to use command row. And then I'm going to put pharmacy name. And then the word other. So after that, I close here. I close my union bracket. So I'm using the function union to combine both of these pharmacy names and the word other together on the same column. So let's now hit OK. And now I have here all my pharmacy names and the word other. So first step is done. Next, I need to create a numeric range parameter that will allow our users to select which top end they want. So I need to go to the model tab and I will go to new parameter and I'm going to select numeric range. So it will be a numeric range, data type, yes, it's whole, I don't need decimals. My minimum value is going to be 3, my maximum will be 10, the increment will be by 1, and my default selection will be 5. Now I will call these numeric range top. There we go. So let's create. And once we create these, it will generate these, like go to table view. It will generate these series with all the top ends that the user can select. And that's what we're gonna drag the top end to our slicer. So now we have the basic set, we can build our measures. So the first measure I already have, so this is the most basic. We need to calculate the total of the revenue. So I just use sum and I sum all the values on the column revenue. So after that, we have to rank the pharmacies. So we're going to use the rank X to rank each pharmacy by revenue. So let's add a new measure. And I'm going to call it rank by revenue. And I will use the rank X. And I'm going to have to add here all of my fact sales. And what do I have to rank? My pharmacy name. And I want to rank it by the revenue. And I'm going to use descending. Closing the tab. So now we are ready to create our main measure. So this is the core of this visualization because it will pretty much decide whether the pharmacy belongs in the top end or in the others, or if it should be hidden. So let's start by adding our new measure. And I'm going to call it sales top end plus others. I have to create quite a few variables. My first variable, it's going to pick the value that was selected in the slicer that will our users select which top end they want to see. So my variable will be the top end value. And we're going to use the selected value from our top end. There we go. Next variable, I'm going to call it all pharmacies. So I will create this table that will summarize all my pharmacy names and the revenue attached to it. So this is just to allow us to identify what are the top ones and which ones should be considered as other. So let's create it. So all pharmacies. So I'm going to summarize from my fact sales. And I want to summarize my pharmacy name. And then I want to add my revenue, which is from the measure revenue. So we can close the bracket. Now our next variable will identify from that table that we created which ones are considered within the top end. So let's call this variable top pharmacy. So I'm going to use the function top end. And will be from my top end value. And that has to be within the table that we created, that is all pharmacies. And this is based on the field revenue. And then we want to add here, descending, and then we close our bracket. Our next variable will identify which pharmacy in the y-axis is being evaluated. And I'm going to call it current pharmacy. And remember that the field that is going to be in our y-axis is from the calculated column that we created called category axis. So this will be the selected value from our table category axis column pharmacy name. So now we can create our final variable that checks whether the current pharmacy that is being evaluated, it is within the top N list. So I'm going to create this variable is top N. And I'm going to look into the current pharmacy, which is the row that is being evaluated. So what is being evaluated now, y-axis. And if it is in, I'm going to use selected columns from our top pharmacy. So that one has to be within the variable top pharmacies, which is, I'll put here pharmacy name, fact sales, pharmacy name, and we close the bracket. Now we are ready to create our return statement, and we're going to use the function switch. So our switch statement will check if the pharmacy is in the top N, and if they are, they will add the revenue. If it is in the others, then we're going to sum everything that is not in the top N. Otherwise, it will return blank. So I'm going to add here my return and my function switch. True. First will be top N item. So it will be is top N, then calculate our revenue. So that the fact sales pharmacy name is current pharmacy. Then we're going to go for the others. So current pharmacy equals to others. Then calculate the revenue except for pharmacies here top pharmacies, then we close, and then our final, which is everything else hides from the apps. So it would just be blank. And then we hit OK. So now we can start building our visual. I'm going to add a bar chart. And I'm going to use for my y-axis, my calculated table, my detached table, so pharmacy name. And on my x-axis, I'm going to put my measure top sales top N plus other. And the reason we can't see anything yet is because I didn't pull a fallback in case there was no selection in our slicer from the top N. So I'm just going to add the slicer. And I'm going to put here my top N. I'm going to type that. Now I can see there is an issue. We cannot see the column others. That's because when I created the category axis table, I use other, and made my measure, I use others. So if I'm just going to put here plural, we just have to make sure that it matches what we use in the category axis and what we use in the top sale N. So there we go. We have the column others here. So let me just change these settings. I want to have the drop down and a single select. So I always have to have a number selected. Now we get to the next challenge, because we can see now that our bar with others is on the top. So if you try to sort, let's say ascending, it doesn't make sense because we should ideally sort our bar chart descending. But at the same time, of course, the others is very likely to be a bigger bar. I want to keep it at the bottom regardless. So what I'm going to do, I couldn't find any solution. So what I came up with was creating a visual calculation that will sort my bars. Now, the visual calculation has to be part of the chart. If I try to hide it, this sorting will not work. So my workaround was adding it to the tooltips and then disabling my tooltips on my chart. If you need to add a tooltip, you can create a page tooltip, and then you're going to make sure that you select that your tooltip is a report page, and then you're not going to see the visual calculation created for the top. So to create a visual calculation, we click on our visual, and there is here new visual calculation. So I'm going to call these sort, I don't know, my visual calculation. And I will do an if statement. So if my pharmacy name equals to others, then I want it to return a -1. So it will always be on the bottom. Else, to return the sales, the total of our measure, which is the sales top and others. I'm going to close my bracket. So it is returning, so that's my idea. All the pharmacy that have a name, they will return the correct value, but others will always be -1, so we can sort it. So let's go back to the report. I'm going to move my sort to my tooltip. And now I'm going to sort based, when you select what you're going to sort it based, it's going to be on my sort VC. And I want to sort descending. So my pharmacy that has got the highest, the values from the top end will always be on the top, and my bars for others will be always on the bottom. Now, of course, if you hover over, you're going to see it. So the next step is to disable. If I go here to tooltip, I will disable. If you need to add tooltip, all you have to do is create a report page showing what exactly you need to live on your tooltip. Otherwise, it will show that value that we don't want. So I'm going to hide it for now. And we are nearly there. Let's just do some formatting here. So on my original visual, I don't want my others to stand out. So I'm going to put in a less contrast color. Let's sort our axes. Let's just improve here the overall formatting. I'm just going to increase my axis values. Same for the Y and the X-axis. Yeah. Now let's go to our box. So whenever my category is others, I want it to have a light color. So let me select here first. It's dark. I want to have this lighter color. And I'm going to put a border, so just to add some contrast. Now, for all other colors, I want to use this darker blue. There we go. Oh, I forgot to change the x-axis values to 16. There we go. I also want to format my measure in currency. So my sales top end, I want to change the format to English pounds. And I don't want any decimals. Let's now add a data label. Here my data label. I'm going to change the color to a dark color. So there is contrast. I'm also going to increase, it's a bit too big. I'm going to increase my font size, and I'm going to change the units to thousands. There we go. Next, we have to change our title. I'm just going to call it top end pharmacies. There we go. Now there are two things missing to match the example that I wanted to show, which is a toggle button. So your user can untoggle, they can toggle on to hide the bar others, or they can untoggle so they can see everything. And it's also missing our dynamic subtitle. We also have to create a measure. So that's what we're going to do next.